Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. So today I have a story time for you guys. Today's story time happened this week. So it happened on Tuesday. I remember I was almost done with my shift at work and I get off like at a decent time where I still have like the whole afternoon to myself type of stuff. My homegirl has that week, she had Tuesday off. So this week she had Tuesday off and she hit me up. She was like, we should do something. And I was like, yeah, you know, like I really don't go out that much besides sometimes the weekends. So I was getting kind of excited, like making plans with her. And I pick her up after I go home and take a shower real quick. I go and pick her up. And we're just chilling in my car talking, thinking about like who should we hang out with, what should we do, and da-da-da-da-da, right? So we decided to pick up one of her friends. He's like cool and everything. He's all right. And my homeboy hits me up and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go pick him up too. We're cruising, you know, jamming out to music, like, you know, lit. So we decide like, okay, like we're bored, we should do something. And then old boy, my homegirl's homeboy, talking about he wants to buy a bottle at Walmart. And I'm like, oh shoot, it's about to get lit up in here. I was like, all right. So I drive to Walmart. And obviously I'm not gonna drink and drive, we're gonna go park somewhere and stuff like that, but we're waiting for him. He comes out and then I'm like, okay, what type of bottle did you get? He shows us and it's a bottle of wine. And if you know me, I don't really drink wine. I only tried wine like a week prior because my cousin had a wine bottle, and honestly I expected it to be kind of gross, but the wine that my cousin had was delectable, delicious. So I was like, okay, and everybody was drinking out of it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it because why not? Like I want to see if it's like my cousin's bottle or what, because I can't really tell the difference like between wine like I can with normal alcohol. Like I don't know if like it tastes different or like what's the deal, you know? So I try it. First off, it smells like straight up alcohol and it was gross. Like I was like, ugh, like I don't like the taste of it. He's like, it's just wine, like who cares, it'll do the job and get us tipsy. They're drinking it, my homegirl and him are drinking it, and my homeboy and I are just like, we're cool off that, like that's not our cup of tea. We'd rather get some rock or something like that, more good, more sophisticated, I'm saying. So we're just like chilling at a park right now, having a conversation. They're talking about they want to have a rap battle. It was like, duh, you know. So then I was texting this one guy because I was like, you know what, like we want to hang out with him after we drop these motherfuckers off. So I go and I drop my homeboy off and then we drop off the other guy. So we're texting and we're telling the other guy to pick us up at my homegirl's apartment. So he's getting closer and I'm like, oh my god girl, we need to get out of my car so he doesn't notice like I have a car, because I had lied to him because he's like, should we meet up or what? And I was like, no, I can't meet up, you have to pick us up because my car's broken down, it's at the shop. But you know, that was a lie. So he picks us up and he has those type of trucks that only 3 people fit in them, and I'm just like, I'm not sitting in the middle. So I told her, girl, you're gonna sit in the middle, okay? She's like, all right. So it was just funny as hell because she was sitting in the middle. So as soon as we get in there, he's like, hey, how you been? He's talking to us and everything, and I'm like, this is my homegirl Ariana. And he's like, oh, like, blah, blah, blah. So he starts speaking in Spanish. And my homegirl's like, hey, can you speak in English? Because I don't speak Spanish. I don't understand it. He's like, oh, yeah, my bad. And he continues and continues and continues to talk in Spanish. I'm like, so he literally just went in through this ear and came out this ear. Like, he did not care. And I was responding to him in English because my homegirl, I didn't want her to feel awkward, you know, like we were ignoring her, being rude towards her, or we were just like, you know, talking about her. So I kept responding to him in English. He kept speaking in Spanish. He knows English. He was just being an a-hole. So I was just like, like, no, I was not. That was strike number 1. So I was texting my homegirl and she said she was hungry. And I'm like, okay, maybe he could buy us food or whatnot. So say you're hungry, you know. And then she's like, man, I'm so hungry. Like, man, my stomach is saying, feed me, bitch. My stomach is growling over here. Like, I'm not even dragging it. That's how dramatic she was being. And the whole time he was being really talkative. But when she mentioned that she was hungry, that was it. Like, he was not talking. I'm like you about to piss me off. Like, that was strike number 2. And he was like, what should we do? Like, do you guys want to drink? And I was like, no. So we ignored him when he said that. So we were like, we should just cruise. So we were cruising. Not even like 3 minutes in, he starts and he parks somewhere downtown. He parks somewhere downtown and I'm just like, okay, why are you parking? He's like, oh my god, there's not a lot of people. And I'm like, well, it's starting to become winter. It's getting colder out and darker sooner. So why would people be walking right now? So he was just talking and stuff, and like honestly, my homegirl felt like he wasn't trying to include her in the conversation, and I felt that way too. So I started like asking her questions, like including her in the conversation as well. I didn't want her to feel awkward or anything or left out. And he was just being rude. And then he told me, why do you always bring someone when we hang out? Like, we've never hung out alone. And I was like, creeper mode is activated, like he's a creep. And then he was like, oh, we should hang out at my place and we can drink. And he's like, we should hang out alone next time. And I'm like, yeah, it's not gonna happen. First off, you're annoying and you're boring and you're being rude to my friend, and I don't know your intentions, so I'm not gonna go to your house, sir. I don't know you like that. And if I did, my homegirl would be coming along. So then he asks us, because he pulls up to a gas station, oh, what do you guys want to drink? And I was like, oh, I want a water, get my friend a root beer, because that's what she wanted. And he was like, all right. And when he goes inside the gas station, we were like, oh my god, like he is being so rude. She's like, I'm tired of him, like I want to slap him. And I was like, I don't blame you, girl. Like, honestly, I don't know what's going on. Like, last time I hung out with him, he was pretty cool. I don't know, like, he's just being straight up rude. I don't know if he's like making her feel uncomfortable so she don't want to hang out next time and it could just be me and him. And she told me, like, when he was parked and we were talking and everything, that since she was in the middle, she was sitting next to him and I was sitting next to her. And she said he was leaning like towards the door, like he didn't want nothing to do with her, like he didn't want to be close to her. And I'm like, oh my god, like he's just so rude. And I was telling her, like, honestly, this is probably the last time I'm gonna hang out with him. She was telling me, you should block him. I'm not gonna block him because he hasn't really given me a reason to, but I just don't want to hang out with him again. I feel like it was just boring and I don't like how he was treating my friend. So yeah, that was that. So then we were thinking we were still gonna be hanging out with him, and he's just saying dumb things like, I don't know, I'm just like not feeling his vibe at all. And then he ends up telling us that he has to go somewhere with his friend, and I feel like he just noticed that my vibe was off as well, because I was just annoyed of everything he was saying, like saying, why do you always bring people? Do you bring people for like protection? I'm like, yeah, because just in case you're trying to be a creep, my homegirl and me will put you on check. But anyways, I was just like, nah, I'm not feeling you. And then we get dropped off and we're like, bye. And I told my homegirl, like, honestly, I didn't feel his vibe. He was just being really rude to you. She's like, yeah, I feel like he wasn't including me in the conversation. He was speaking Spanish, so I didn't understand. And he was like sitting away from me, like if I have germs or something. And I was just like, yeah, I didn't feel that vibe. I felt like he was like being rude and I just don't want to mess with him no more. So I leave my homegirl. I tell her, peace out, I'm gonna go home. I go home and I eat and stuff like that, and I just receive a text from him. He's like, hey, he was trying to flirt with me because I uploaded a picture and he's saying hard eyes, hard eyes. And I was just like, thanks, but I just ended up leaving him on scene because he's just not my cup of tea. He just seems like those type of guys that wouldn't even want to hang out with your friends if you guys were in a relationship. He would be like, nah, why do you want to bring others around? Like, I'm not feeling you, like, at all. Like, you're not my type of dude. And yeah, you guys, I ended up telling my mom and my aunt about it. They started laughing, saying, girl, like, why would you bring your friend? Like, he's actually cute. I'm like, I'm not interested in him and he's really boring and stuff like that. I don't want to mess with him, like. But they were just saying that he probably didn't want her to come next time, and I'm like, I got that vibe too. But anyways, if you like this story time, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think and any other videos you guys would like to see, and I'll see you guys in my next story time. Bye guys.